Yo, what's up, cool kids? We are back with another video. Today we will be talking about the Fortnite storyline. But before we get into that, make sure to smash that subscribe button, make sure to smash that like button. We are so close to 50 subscribers. We can make it. I know we can. Let's get right into it. But I want to shout out my two friends, Aiden and Nico. Aiden, his YouTube is Iron Aiden, spelled I-R-O-N space A-I-D-E-N. Go check him out. He makes really good content. I like it a lot. And my friend Nico, his YouTube is knee_co, spelled N-E_K-O. Okay, go check him out. Great guy. Good videos. Haven't uploaded in a while, but he probably will soon. So, let's get right into the video and hope you guys enjoy. Let's start off with the Season 1 map. Chapter 1, Season 1, Fortnite map was created. Basically, nothing was really happening in that first season, as we all know. Fortnite was just developing. It had really bad graphics. Nothing really to talk about there. But then we will go into Season 2. Chapter 1, Season 2. Now, this is a different story. Chapter 1, Season 2 was so good. It was one of the best seasons ever made. Graphics got updated, and basically, the game was overall great. Everybody started playing. We got a new battle pass. We had knights. Nothing about the storyline was really happening there. Just we got new POIs and stuff like that. Stuff was being added to the game. We got Black Knight. We got other things too. But then we start into Season 3. Now this is where it gets interesting. There is a meteor / comet coming in at the top of the map. You could see it in Season 3. You could see at the top of the map it was like glowing, and people speculated this was gonna probably hit the map, maybe near the map, probably gonna do something to the map, and meteorites started falling down, like low-time meteorites. They did a lot of damage. They started falling down random points of the map. People were still confused what was happening, and everyone was confused. And this is where the Fortnite storyline basically starts. Then we roll into Season 4. Insane. Best season, my opinion. It was just insane. The meteorite came in that we saw in Season 3, came in, hit, it went past, it crashed into Dusty Depot. For Season 3 players, people know Dusty Depot. It made a giant crater in the ground. It started off as a little meteorite that was in the middle of the crash site, and as time developed, there were crystals around, hop rocks, as you guys might know. There were little crystals around that you could use and you jump really high. If you equipped those, you jump really high. So there was this truck company, you might have seen it, and you can get like hop rocks and trucks. If you remember back then, for Season 4 OG, you could see hop rocks and trucks. And those people were using those hop rocks to power a rocket that was on the edge of the map. That was the first ever event ever in Fortnite. It was a team on the map that was trying to figure out what was happening with the meteorite in the middle. And they were making a rocket on the other side of the map. And they're powering it up with hop rocks. And as they were doing that, something was starting to come out the meteorite. So they started making a base around the whole meteorite. They started making a white base around the whole meteorite. And what I got out of it, there was a loading screen. What I got out of it is that the visitor, he's a skin. He is basically an alien from a different universe who came out of that rocket, and he wasn't supposed to be on this island. So he came out the rock. People were confused, and people didn't know that no one came out of it. So he came out. He started like he was looking around the map. He was trying to find out what was happening, and he saw a rocket, and he took this to his advantage. He thought, "Oh my God, I can get home." That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to get home. So at the last second, the visitor took over the rocket, and he started flying it up into space. He wanted to go back home to where he came in from the giant meteorite. So that's basically what he did. He tried to go home, but as he was going up, the rocket started failing. What I think happened is that the team that was trying to use the rocket, they were trying to destroy Tilted Towers for some reason. So they took over the rocket at the last second when Visitor was trying to escape. Visitor was still in the rocket, so they took over it. The rocket started falling down, and the rocket basically targeted Tilted Towers. The rocket was going down, about to destroy Tilted Towers, and then it went into a rift. That's what we call it, the rift, if anybody knew about it. It went into a giant crack in the top of the Tilted Towers. Everyone was confused. Everyone was so like, what the heck just happened? But he went into a 0 point. It's the in-between, basically, we call it the in-between. And we'll talk about that later. He came out on top, and then he started flying around the whole map for some reason. And then he got shot up into the sky, and then disappeared forever. Made a giant crack in the sky, and then he was never seen again. And then Season 5 came. Weird things started happening. Rifts started bringing in weird materials like, what's it called? They started bringing in a Durburger head. They started bringing a real person, Drift. I'll show you the trailer right here. They bring in a real person, Drift. They also bring in ancient battleship for Vikings. They made a new POI. It started bringing weird future and past and present things. It was weird. It started bringing Stonehenges. It was weird. So basically that season, there was a random live event. You know, the crack in that the visitor made in the sky that went up. It made it started to make lightning on this one part of Paradise Palms. If you remember that spot, it started making a circle around this one rock. It was lightning. A purple beam of lightning came down, and people were so confused. I think Ninja saw this. Ninja saw he was playing the game, and a giant beam of lightning came down that one spot, and it just was there for like at least like 30 seconds, and then a giant cube formed. A giant purple cube formed. People were so weirded. Like, they were like, what the heck just happened? Everybody saw it across the whole map from the sky, and the crack in the sky went away. So the visitor basically disappeared. He was in the universe forever. He's gonna be stuck in the 0 point forever. Right now. And then the cube was made from the crack in the sky. We call it Kevin, if all y'all didn't know. Kevin started moving around the map, making weird signs in the ground. Probably because he's gonna come back. He was gonna come back to them later. He was gonna use them as power. So he circled around the map for the whole season, and what happened is he went to the middle, and he went to Loot Lake, and everyone was so happy for a live event. And he went to Loot Lake, and he started getting absorbed. He started melting into the water, and then Loot Lake became a giant bouncy house, a giant purple bouncy house. And then everybody could use it on Loot Lake, and they were bouncing around. They were so happy, and it was such a good LTM if you were in it. And then Season 6 came. The cube came together under the house in the middle of Loot Lake, and made it float. So that was the end of Loot Lake. It was a giant, like, hole in the middle. People were so freaking confused. And we really... It was just a floating island, and people landed on it. It was a new POI. But it started moving around the map, and the places that I started to talk about, where it, like, it made symbols on the ground when it went around the whole map, that's the cube went around getting the power from that and absorbing it back up. And it was actually pretty cool. And that's when Dusty Divot started growing. It started growing trees and stuff. So it started getting old. It started getting trees, and the cube started going around getting its power back. And then it went back in the middle. You could fly up to it. It went back in the middle, and it started draining its power into the middle of Loot Lake. Everyone was so confused. They were like, why is it draining out? Like, why is it draining its power into the middle of Loot Lake? Like, they were so confused. And there was an event for Season 6 that made it so the cube started circling around in a circle, and it started spinning really fast. It got slow, and then it started going fast, and then it exploded. Everyone saw the 0 point. Everyone saw it. It was all white. It was the middle. Everyone saw the 0 point. It was the in between. Everybody saw it. It was all white, and they looked around and they saw a butterfly. They touched a butterfly, and that bring them back to this map right here. And they spawned in the top of the whole map, and basically the cube was destroyed. The cube was all over the place. It was broken. Basically, pieces of it were broken all over the place. The map was what's it called? The house was gone, blown up. Nothing was there anymore. Only the remains of the cube. So then that was that. Then Season 7 came. Now, this season confused me. I was really confused. Nothing really happened. Like, I think there was a new POI. Let me look. Okay. So yeah, there was a new, so in Season 7, the cube remains were still there. They were still chilling in a circle, like the Stonehenge. A new team started coming in. A new ice team. And it covered up the bottom left of the map. The Ice King. He made his own empire called Polar Peak, and he had a plan to take over the whole map. He wanted to take over the whole map full of ice. He wanted to make the full map ice. And that's exactly what he did. There was a live event in Season 7 where he cracked open his little ball that he was whatever, and he was like, I don't know what it's called, he was like chilling. And he cracked open his ball when it was ready, and he became huge, and he started circling his hand around in a circle, and then he pushed it forward, and a giant snowstorm came up and covered the whole map in ice. covered the whole freaking map. And that was pretty cool. I liked it. It was all snowy. And then Season 8 came. Now, let's talk Season 8. Okay? I'm clueless. Okay? So, for Season 8, we had a volcano. We had the prisoner. He was imprisoned in the Ice King's castle. And he started melting out. For some reason. And we got his skin. It was pretty cool, and we started melting out of the thing. So everyone was like, this is cool. This could probably be part of the storyline. And we started seeing his hands. And then the next day, he was out. The ice was totally melted. The chains were just floating there. No one was in there. So he escaped. He made his own little volcano. He had his own empire. He had a volcano. And he wanted to melt all the ice that Ice King made. So that's what he did. He started melting the rest of the ice. And that's when we started getting eggs. There were starting to be eggs in Polar Peak, which is pretty cool. Kind of confused. Everybody had no idea what was happening. And we just figured out these eggs. They were already in the game. And what was cool is that it was just cool. And okay, so there was a Season 8 event where we went into a weird... We went into so in Season 8 we got we got a new POI. It was in the middle. It was Loot Lake, and it had a vault. It looked like a vault, like a circle in the middle that you could open, and it had all of Kevin's power in it. And there were these little spheres around the whole map that we had to move, and we had to get in the middle. And it's basically keys, and we had to move them around. And once they all got together, the Season 8 event happened. They went into, and the vault opened. We went inside. We saw a big cube. I mean, not a cube, a circle. What we call the 0 point now. And we got to unvault something. Of course, everyone unvaulted the drum gun. And we went back out, and the volcano started erupting. My opinion is that Prisoner finally made a choice, and he wanted the volcano to erupt. And that's what he did. He wanted a battle with Ice King. He hated Ice King. And, the event was a giant volcano, like, what's it called? A ball came out, like a fireball came out of the volcano and hit Polar Peak. Boom, splat, right there, hit it. And it cracked open. And it hit Tilted Towers, so the towers got destroyed. It got hit with 3 different things, and it hit Retail Row, and Retail Row got destroyed. So, that was the event, and we walk into Season 9. And, I mean, Season 9, we walk into Season 9. And we got a new pressure plant. And everybody was confused of what happened. We got Sunny Steps. I think that's been in there since Season 8. Lazy Lagoon has been in there from Season 8 too. Dusty Divot was still there. But there was a crack. Remember I was talking about the crack in the Polar Peak? remember the eggs I was talking about? It seems like Ice King put the egg inside the whole polar peak. He put it inside the whole thing. Like that's how it grew up. That's how it grew up and became a huge thing. And as season 9 progressed, we started seeing an eye. We started seeing an eye inside Polar Peak. Okay? And it was cool. I mean, later in the season, it broke out, and it made footsteps on the ground of, you could see the footsteps. It was pretty cool. You could see the whole footsteps. And it went in the water. People started speculating that it was in the water chilling, and it was. It started coming up, and we saw the Polar Peak head, like the head of Polar Peak. The whole top of Polar Peak was gone. Like the whole top was just gone. It just got totally taken off. And it started, the Polar Peak top started coming up out of the sides of the map and going back down the water. And everybody speculated that it was a giant monster, which it was. It was Ice King's baby king, whatever. And here comes the season 9 event. The Polar Peak monster, known as, I think, Caddis, came out of the water from, I think, west, can't remember, and he went straight for the middle, straight for the 0 point that was already vaulted up, and he started cracking it open. He didn't crack it open all the way, but as season 9 progressed, I forgot to talk about this. As season 9 progressed, which is Singularity. We saw her helmet in the season 8 event. We saw her helmet in the middle, like a little desk in front of the 0 point, and Singularity was building a robot. She knew that there was a monster on the other side of the map, so she started building a robot in Pressure Plant. She blew up Pressure Plant because she wanted to build a robot. I mean, she blew up the volcano because she wanted to build a robot. So the Caddis came, destroyed the middle, almost destroyed it, and the robot came out and they started fighting, basically. The robot shot rockets at Caddis, and Caddis got hit. The robot started shooting more rockets, and Caddis came back with a weird green breath. It was pretty cool, and he knocked the robot down, and the robot just speared him into the water. It was full-on speared, and that's what, and the Polar Peak got destroyed off his head, and they speared into the water, and the robot was like, yeah, I won, I'm coming out the water, like, so cool. And then Caddis comes out the back and yoinks him, gets on his back and rips off his arm. Rips off Mecha Team Leader's arm, which is the robot, and throws it into the water. So Mecha Team Leader he's injured. So he falls, and he grabs his hand. He puts his hand into the vault, and he grabs the 0 point, the ball, and he cracks it open. And that gave him power in his hand, and he turned around. Caddis was right behind him, jumping, and he punched him in the head with full force and knocked him out. So Mecha Team Leader got back up. He went to Neo Tilted, which was really good. I love that place. And he pulled the statue, Singularity statue, out of the ground, the water, and it turned out to be a huge sword that he put power into. And then and this was the end. Caddis got up. Mecha Team Leader had a sword, one hand. That was it. And they both jumped up, and then Caddis put the sword into his head, and then he killed Caddis, and that was the end for the monster. And then Mecha Team Leader just flew off. He went to space. So that was the season 9 event. The bones of Caddis were there, as a POI, and then season 10 came. Now, it's gonna be a lot. Okay, so when Mecha Team Leader destroyed the 0 point, it started floating and you could fly on it. But then in Season 10, Chapter 1, Season 10, the 0 point blew up. It just full-on blew up. Made a giant sphere around the map, well, around Loot Lake, and it made it so you could have 0 gravity, and if you went to it, it made a rift. But in the trailer, it showed him in some kind of weird universe, but we saw the rocket. So this speculates that this is what visitors saw. Visitors saw all this future things and past things. And we went back, and then the map was frozen in time. The map was frozen in time. We had the giant meteor back. The meteor was just floating in the air. We had Dusty Depot back. People were so happy about that. We had all these old POIs back. We went back in time, basically. And we had a secret skin. The secret skin was called the Scientist. He was one of the 7. Okay? That's going to be really important for the end. We're going to have 7. We have the Visitor, we have the Scientist, and this other skin. I don't know her name. It starts with a C or something. And we went through it. Old POIs started coming back because Scientists wanted to do old POIs. And he wanted to see if this map was real. So we bring back old POIs. And then the Season 10 event came. Now,
what the 7 of us are attempting is very risky. I suspect they are not the only ones watching, but it must be done or we lose the bridge forever. I speculate that no one calculated the formation of the island, that interdimensional matter collisions would resolve rather than push. Now that I witnessed it firsthand, it's obvious that pinching alone made it inevitable. When I hear this again, will it help me remember? Or once looped, will I be just as muted as the others? No matter, it seems the lengthy precautions worked. The theorem was a success. You arrived outside the loop at the exact moment of expansion. This effectively paused the singularity, giving us time to create the devices needed to synchronize the junction. What I didn't factor was that the only way to trigger the device was from within the loop itself. Thus this hasty and primitive recording, and why now I find myself looped. Activate the beacon at precisely the moment this timer reaches nothing. The 0 point must be contained once more. If they are correct, it will be the end.
this is the end of the Chapter 1 map. Okay? We will never see it again until Fortnite makes a decision. Or Epic Games make a decision. We'll never see the Chapter 1 map again. I'm warning you now. The event started off with the rocket coming out of Dusty Depot, flying up in the air, cracking open what he did in the Season 4 event. He cracked open the top, made a giant circle, and it's really hard to talk about this. He brought his friends together, all 7 of them, started flying around the whole map, making rifts everywhere, and they went to go after the meteorite that was floating in the air that was trapped in space, and they made a giant rift in front of it, and they started circling around, and they started doing it over and over again, really fast, really fast, really fast, and they pushed the meteor into the rift, and it was gone. Everyone was so confused. And then we saw the oh my god, sorry talking about it. We saw the rocket come from the top of the map and then fall down and hit the ground of the 0 point. It broke the 0 point. The sphere around the 0 point was trying to protect itself, trying to protect the 0 point, and the rocket came down, blew it up, flew us all into space, and that's what made the 0 point weak. And the 6, you saw 6 because the Visitor was in the middle, or Scientist was in the middle. He was the one who cracked it open, and the 6 were surrounding the meteorite, which came from the top down to the 0 point. It was falling down. The 0 point tried to protect itself. tried. The meteorite went in, hit the 0 point, they collided, and boom, explosion. And we get sucked into a void. You get sucked into the 0 point, which is now blown up fully. It is not cracked, it's fully blown up. And we get sucked into a new world. We get sucked into space. And we're left with a black hole for 3 days. And then we have Chapter 2, Season 1. Basically a recreation of the old map. We are in, my opinion, is Chapter 1 was the Visitor's map. Chapter 2, now that we're in, basically it looks the same. We are in the Scientist's map. So there's got 7 other maps that I think, of the 7. That's my opinion. And we are in the second map. So, no storyline happened in Chapter 2, Season 1. And then came, this is Chapter 2, Season 2. Now, this is where I get to explain a lot. Midas. The one who is the only one that knows something. I'm not going to spoil it. He knows something important about this. Midas, he makes a thing called the agency. And we have bosses now that are part of the map. And he starts making a team. We have Alter versus Ego, basically. We have Ghost versus Shadow. Basically, Midas was on Ghost. He was by himself. He's on Ghost and Shadow. He is a double agent. And he started getting spies. My opinion is Brutus, as we know, Brutus is he's on Midas's team, but he's a spy on Shadow. So Midas is on Ghost, but if we see in the trailer of Chapter 2, Season 2, we see that everyone's on Ghost. We're in the agency. Agency is a ghost place, and we see Brutus dressed in a Shadow suit. Why? Is our question. It's because he's a spy. We see Tiantina blew up her place because of a distraction. Midas was building something. He was making something. He was trying to do something. He found out that he's confused. He's trying to figure out what's happening. So he recruits everyone. I don't think he recruits Deadpool. Deadpool came, but he recruits Sky, TNTina, Brutus. We got everyone. He has everyone on his team, and we see something in his. We start unveiling people's places, like we go into like this little layer of people's places. We have Brutus, we have TNTina, we have Sky, and then at the last one we see Midas. Midas has a room with a weird device in his background. He's confused. He has 2 statues of Lynx. He has one statue that's frozen as gold, and he has a mask. So, how can there be 2 masks? He's trying to remind himself. He knows something's up. He knows something's weird. So, his plan is to do something. Chapter 2, Season 2 event happens. We are all confused. We are in the middle of the map, we're in an agency, and agency blows up. For some reason. We all knew there was going to be a doomsday event, and device. So, a device comes out the middle, and it's huge. I forgot to tell you this, he starts making bunkers around the agency, like little tiny bunkers. Everybody was confused. They started going purple. And as the doomsday device was coming up after the agency was destroyed, it started coming up and it activated. The bunkers opened and things came out. Beams of the Tesla towers kinda came out. And then they all connected the doomsday device together. And Midas's plan was to push back the storm. And that's what he did. He pushed back the storm. He connected them all together, the doomsday device was active, and he got it connected to the storm, and the storm get pushed back. The storm came back, and he activated it again, and it pushed away really hard. It was like a battle kinda. It went back and forth, and then Midas put all power into the doomsday device, and boom, storm was gone. Never to see it again. It was all like beautiful. It was rainbows everywhere. Midas succeeded. His doomsday device started going down, and then we go into this weird universe. We're in an office with Agent Jonesy, they call him, and he's talking out there about a girl and what's happening out there. They're trying to fix it, and we come back to the map, and we're flooded. There's like a storm that's flooded. The storm is holding back a flood, and Midas couldn't do anything about it. Midas was screwed. Midas had nothing to do. He failed, and we go back into the office that we're in. We were in first person mode, by the way, and we saw the office, and basically, how I would explain it is they're controlling the Fortnite map. They say, and that worked. How long do you think it will hold? And he comes back in the office, and he's like, wait. Can you hear me? And then we go back to the map, and it's all flooded. And it's the storm, and we're all confused. So, we are left with, and then Season 3 comes. Everyone knows we're in a simulation. We are in a simulation. The Fortnite map is controlled by people on the outside, and they are controlling us. Midas is the only one who knew. Midas told his friends. Midas told Lynx. He told Jules. Jules is very important. Okay? We saw her on the desk of Agent Jonesy. Okay? Season 3 comes. Jules is the engineer is in the battle pass. What I think is that the storm couldn't hold the tsunami anymore, and it collapsed. The whole map is flooded. And as we're going through, we got new bosses. The whole map is flooded. All new map POIs are gone. We got new bosses. We got Jules now. Jules, okay? She has something to do with Midas. I think Jules built the Doomsday device, and now she's carrying on Midas' legacy. She knows that we're in a simulation. She's trying to help out Midas. Midas did get eaten. He got eaten in the beginning. Midas got eaten by he got eaten by a shark, but I think he's still alive. If we go to Risky Reels, we will see that there's a gold like truck, but it's a simulation, so we keep respawning. So Midas is still alive. In my opinion, he's still here. He still knows what he's doing. We are flooded. The flood is starting to go down. The water's starting to decrease, and we'll see what happens from here. I think my predictions for the next season is that there's going to be the Caddis is going to come back, or I mean not Caddis. The Mecha Team Leader is going to come back, and there's going to be a Kraken. I know what you're saying, clickbait, but I think it's going to be a fight again. I think it's Mecha Team Leader is going to come back. He just disappeared. I don't know what happened to him. There's going to be a Kraken because the whole map's flooded. Back in Season 8, I think, we got a emoticon that had a Kraken on it. So, and this map is basically flooded. So, that's my prediction for the future. And hope you guys enjoyed my opinion about the whole situation with the storyline and my predictions for the future. And yeah, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye. And there's a new rocket thing here, which crashed on the island, and I think this is what's gonna continue the storyline. There's a person inside of here, and I think it's gonna be a new boss, and I think this is what's gonna continue the storyline. So, we'll see.